My name is Stephen Blum. I am the CTO of PubNub, and I am changing the world. Let me give you a little bit of introduction about myself. I've been a hacker since the first time I saw computers, building copy protection cracks and hacking from there. I started my first company at the age of 17, LT Sun, a real-time site editor that allowed you to easily manage your online brand. And no database, no backend, super easy to install. Thank you. Super easy to sell as well. So when I was going through college, I continued the business. I eventually sold my company, made more money than I ever had, and bought the car of my teenage dreams. And dropped out of college because that was a total waste of time. Joined Microsoft, where I ran the MPU team, Microsoft Partner University. It was sort of like sales rep e-learning. Did that for 2 years, and then looked to Silicon Valley, down south. I was getting interested in entrepreneurship again, so I found Todd Green, who's currently the CEO of PubNub. And before we started PubNub, we were doing a couple other startups, like Trusted Opinion, Yelp for the rest of the world. 52 languages, 1 million users. We pivoted the company to Loyalize. Now, this company was cool. This is actually cool. What we did was we partnered with TV studios, and we overlaid a WebKit browser, it's actually Google Chrome, on a live 1080p broadcast. And on the bottom of that screen, it allowed you to see vote tallies of the audience in real time. And it was using PubNub technology at the time, so I was able to vote on my phone and see my vote on the TV screen. And that was pretty awesome. We did Deadliest Warriors, we did a deal with Yahoo and Motorola. The company was acquired by Bob Silverman, the guy who owns American Idol. And from there, it's been PubNub. About 4 years now. And PubNub is an Earth-scale technology. The idea behind PubNub is that we're a globally distributed network. We give you the core building blocks to construct all real-time technology and really accelerate your application and make it really easy to reduce costs and complexity. You can think of PubNub just out the box as a CDN, but in reverse. We actually push data to your end consumer devices. Since there's engineers here, my favorite kind of people, I'm going to show you source code up front. Now, on this source code is the simplicity behind our network. What we do is we give you SDKs. We've got 52 of them plus. This one's in JavaScript. You can see the subscribe on my left. This allows you to open a TCP socket, which basically gives you a phone connection, and like you can speak to the device anytime you want, but what you're speaking is JSON data or any sort of application layer data. And from there, you give it a channel name, which it says my channel, and a delegate or a function callback. And on the other side is a publish event. So when you're ready to speak to that user, you can send a message on that channel and whatever the message you want it to be. It could be a string, it could be a number, it could be an array or an object of some sort. Unlike the previous talk, please feel free to interrupt me anytime you want. I was told that the Israel audience is pretty engaging, and you'll interrupt me. So please say, "Hey, Stephen, I think you're full of bullshit. Give me more details, or I don't believe you." So just let me know anytime you want. But otherwise, we'll just walk through the generic details of PubNub. The ease of development has really made it super simple to build all sorts of industries on PubNub today. We've got thousands of customers using PubNub right now in all these industries that are very difficult for you to see because of this screen. But I'll read a few, like voice over IP. We actually make phones ring. I'll give you a customer example shortly. Home automation, geolocation, anything that involves updating multiple clients or signaling in between multiple clients. Today we have lots of different support for all sorts of devices. We're using Arduino, Raspberry Pi, mobile phones, web browsers. Everything can speak to everything easily using those APIs I showed you earlier. And we are the undisputed leader in this industry. We have more customers. We're globally distributed in 12 data centers, highest traffic, and the most functionality. And here's the source code again in case you're interested. So first, what I'm going to show is a quick little example that I did in a video of phone signaling. I wrote a phone API in JavaScript. Here is a quick little video that shows you how to use the PubNub network. All right, and what you saw there was one device signaling the other. Now those devices could be on the same machine, or they can be completely across anywhere on the other side of the earth. And this is the case study I was going to give you about one of our customers. Rebtel is the second largest voice over IP company on earth today. They signal to soft phones using PubNub. Now, Rebtel is a very smart team of engineers. They've been around for a while, so they know how to build infrastructure. And when they found PubNub, they said, oh, wait, we can build this technology. We know how to do it. But they really started evaluating what it would mean to create a globally distributed network and said, you know what, we're just going to leverage this infrastructure. And a big reason was latency. In this case, Rebtel, for every 500 milliseconds that you're not able to signal the other phone, they lose revenue. And with PubNub, as you saw in that demonstration, it's as soon as you press your finger on the button, the other phone rings. So we can make your phone's ring faster than any other telecom service. But it's not all about the interoperability between iPhone and iOS and being able to communicate to those devices separately. It's more about moving towards real-time apps. So it's changing from the way we did the old school request response interface, where you would send an AJAX signal saying, I need to see if there's something new for me, check, 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 like pulling. It's moving more towards a constant data stream. So from here, I'm going to show you a quick little demo or a PubNub video. So I'm going to try to hold my microphone up here so you can all hear it. And this will give you a little bit more idea about how PubNub works. All right. So we provide all these real-time features, presence analytics, storage, security, mobile, and routing and filtering, so you can send and receive data in all the different types of varieties that you like. PubNub network works like this. Using your SDK on the top right, iOS, Android, web, you can connect to the closest data center through GeoDNS that you see there in the top left. And then that opens up a socket connection to us that we maintain reliably through our edge network. And then in the bottom left corner, you see your customer data center. This is where you're able to signal your remote device if you want, or devices can speak to each other peer-to-peer without any data center whatsoever. And this can all be done completely secure using our SDK's AES encryption, 256, SSL, account access management, and all sorts of things. And this is the part I'm a little bit more proud of, is the, let's go back here. All right, if you can see that basically what it's saying is on the top layer are the SDKs, JavaScript, Objective-C, PHP, Ruby. We've optimized our global network. Everything's written in pure C, so all of our servers are running C code and nothing else. And the only thing above that is, or below that, is the kernel. This is where our infrastructure lies. So I'm going to give you a quick couple of more case studies here. For example, Coca-Cola has used us in a good number of their campaigns. And they love PubNub so much that they've declared it a mandatory consumer standard. So if you're a dev shop building for Coca-Cola any application, you are now mandated throughout their security audit service to use PubNub. And they've done this just because of our security, reliability, and we're really like a CDN. You can sort of think of PubNub as the Akamai for real time. Now, here is an interesting customer. I like these guys because they're so fun to demonstrate, which I'll show you here in a little bit. They're sort of like real-time eBay, but instead of the auctions lasting for 2-3 days, they only last for 2 minutes. Let's see. Let me see if I can give you an example of how that works. Let me go over here. So I'm going to boot up Top Hatter. Let's see where we go from here. All right, so I'm going to enter into one of these auctions. Okay, so all of these people that you see here are live. They are currently in this auction. You can see chat at the bottom. You can see the current bid. You can also see the auctioneer at the very top, and they are the ones that are sort of directing what's being sold. And then you can't quite see it in here, but there's a fairy person in the left top that's also facing the audience, and that's actually the seller. And if I were to click this bid button, I would actually be bidding for this interesting green, gorgeous lab sapphire ring. And I don't necessarily want it, but if I wanted to drive up the bid cost, I could click on it. Let's see if someone sells here. Okay, so that actually happened just now. Someone purchased this product, and they will receive the shipping and billing details later. And then it will rotate. All this is done with Ruby on Rails and PubNub, JavaScript on the client side. So let's see here. Let me close that because it will make noise. All right. Any questions so far? All right, so what we have here is our GitHub repository. One thing about PubNub is that we open source as much as we possibly can. So all of our SDKs and platforms are listed at this URL. We accept patch requests and pull requests. And all of our APIs are like the primary ones: Objective-C, Java, Ruby, and JavaScript. So I know we're a little bit less on time now because we've been running late, but feel free to ask me any questions from here. I can show you a couple more customers. And actually what I'd really like to show you is the dev console. And I think that's what's showing here right now. So if you hit this URL, pubnub.com/console, you'll actually be connected to the same PubNub channel that I am connected to. Now, if I click the send button, you'll actually see I'm sending messages and they are being received by myself because I'm publishing to the same data channel that I'm subscribed to. But if someone else were to join this channel, I would be able to see your message come through. Oh. There's another feature of PubNub called PubNub Presence, which allows us to see the occupancy number of the people who are on a channel and the user ID. So I can see that a few people joined. There's currently 3. And I see someone said, "Morning." Good morning. Let's see. So if I respond, "Hello," then it sends hello. Oh, well, okay, now there's 6 people. All right. So if from here, I'm going to go to our GitHub repository. Let's see, Java. My favorite GitHub repository is our JavaScript repository because it's so well documented, because I documented it myself.
Steven?
Yeah.
Can I interrupt a question about authentication?
Let's do it. Okay, so there's lots of different security design patterns in PubNub today. What we're releasing here pretty soon is something called access management, which allows you to grant and revoke the ability to send or receive data on a specified channel. And you do that with sort of like auth tokens, and you define the auth token. So one thing about PubNub, we're not the authority, but we will cache the authority that you give on the user. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Structure-wise, how do you differ from ZeroMQ?
Oh, we love ZeroMQ. So ZeroMQ is really good if you're doing a lot of back-end server infrastructure communication. We use a little bit of ZeroMQ internally for analytical purposes. And it's a really great framework. But when you're trying to signal in consumer devices in a broadcast or unicast fashion like PubNub, you'll need something a little bit more robust. And the PubNub network itself is globally distributed, multiple locations, and we're able to catch you up. Like if you drop your connection, you might not be able to catch up on that data that was missed, and especially for a multi-tenant, multi-client environment. Sure.
So a couple of ways to do what communication, such as PubNub pusher services. There was some framework specifics, such as Socket.io,
Yes.
Meteor.js, delivery centers. Do you see a way for all these to somewhat converge? Such as developer will not have to, make up his mind upfront.
It's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that. Someone about a year ago was asking that similar question about Socket.io and being able to run that framework on top of an infrastructure like PubNub or Pusher. And they said this was impossible. They said you can't do that. But I proved them wrong. I created a Socket.io wrapper that actually runs on PubNub network, and you can use it today. It's in our JavaScript repository /Socket.io. And from there, we're going to be adding SignalR, Meteor, and all the others. Everything will run on top of the PubNub network.
Right, so it's not just the challenge of the protocol itself. I mean,
right.
It's also semantics. So
yes.
When is the database updated, what then should be sent to the client?
Exactly. And each of these frameworks gives you a little bit different paradigms, and whatever you're the most comfortable with, we will support. Yep.
Are there any iOS limitations and things that Apple will or won't put you through the socket layer problems with iPhones?
That's a really good question. So the answer is yes. Apple will restrict socket connectivity when the phone is in your pocket or turned off or the app isn't running. So one thing that PubNub offers is APNS compatibility. So if the phone is off or in your pocket or there's no app running, we will use APNS on Apple's network to deliver that message. But if the phone's on, the data will go through the PubNub network, which is much less latency.
Does it apply to iOS 7 where the full multitasking?
With iOS 7, this is an interesting thing since everything can run in the background in full multitasking, sort of like Android. We are still experimenting with it. The VoIP socket, or that socket in the background, is something that we are definitely looking into. Yeah, it's good questions. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to be around all day, so if you have any more questions, please come visit us. We're in the red PubNub t-shirts, and thank you.